Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 132 of the show with no name. I'm your humble host, Nick, and today we're going to be exploring another little old cemetery out here outside of Spokane, Washington. This cemetery goes by the name of Scotts Valley Cemetery. Let's get into this. This cemetery was established in 1915 by Nathan Newell, whom is also buried here himself, although I couldn't find any pictures of him in person or any information on him really. This little old cemetery has quite a few old burials in it, but it also had a high number of recent burials as well, and it's expanding little by little out here. And that's something I've been noticing about these old little cemeteries on the outskirts of Spokane, Washington. As the population continues to increase in Spokane and all the surrounding areas, more and more people are going to start being buried in these little cemeteries that have already been put in place. So we're going to start seeing an uptick in burials in these little cemeteries, and they'll start expanding more and more throughout the coming years in the future. Richard Ellensworth Smart was born on April 21st, 1915 in Wilbur, Washington. He was an iron worker and a member of the Boilermakers Union. He would pass away on March 14th, 1998 at the age of 82. His wife, Evelyn Fay Smart, was born on June 11th, 1915 in Whitman County, Washington. She moved to Spokane as a child and was a homemaker. She passed away a few months before her husband on February 2nd, 1998. She was also 82 years old. Edwin Russell Tarvin was born on April 5th, 1907 in Ohio. He would pass away on Christmas Eve in 1961. He was only 54 years old. His wife, Mildred Lamb Tarvin, was born on November 25th, 1910. Her birthplace is not known. They would have one child together, a daughter, Eddie Lou. After Edwin passed away so young, Mildred would remarry. She would pass away on January 15th, 1975. She was 64 years old. She is buried next to Edwin here at the cemetery. This next guy I'm going to talk about has quite the story because he was a really busy person in life, and his name is Stanley Williams. He was born on February 29th, 1928. He was a leap year baby. At the age of 8, he learned to tap dance and play various musical instruments, the piano being his instrument of choice, and one he can play by ear throughout his lifetime. He continued his training in ballet and tap in Hollywood with various artists. He danced his way into many Hollywood films, including The Barkleys of Broadway, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and Yes Sir, That's My Baby, to name a few. Mr. Williams continued to perfect his own act in the circuits of California and Oregon, and he mastered various styles of Spanish dance. Eventually, Mr. Williams made his way to New York and danced in the Broadway musicals Alive and Kicking and Great to Be Alive. In the 1950s, Mr. Williams set sail for London to audition for Britain's Rising Ballet Company. A conversation with a fellow shipboard passenger, who was a choreographer, redirected Williams to Paris, where he was immediately employed as a lead dancer at the legendary Variety and Dancing Cabaret. Mr. Williams's tap dancing act eventually received top billing, with the eye-catching headline, "Direct from America, Tall, Dark, and Dansome, Stan the Man." His original show-stopping number featured Mr. Williams in a white suit, tapping across a glass stage, illuminated from underneath with colored lights that changed tones according to the tapped rhythms. Mr. Williams' wife, a ballet dancer turned Paris nightclub dancer, Tessa Williams, once recalled, "I would always rush to see his entrance at the end of my performance. He would always stop by the apartment I shared with my great friend and fellow dancer for coffee. Then the three of us would tour something in Paris before we went to the theater for our evening performances. When I first met Stan, I told my friend I would marry him, and I did." Mr. Williams married Tessa in 1962 at the Our Lady of Lourdes Cathedral in Spokane. In the mid-1950s, after an extended tour performing in Naples, Rome, and Sicily, Mr. Williams returned to Spokane to continue his education and embark on a successful 40-year teaching career. Upon completing a BA at the Eastern Washington University and an MA at Gonzaga University in Education, Mr. Williams taught at Shadle Park High School and Eastern Washington University and began directing plays. From 1964 to 1995, Mr. Williams taught speech and drama at Spokane Falls Community College, and he was also a chairman of their creative arts program. In 1962, he directed the first musical to be presented at the Spokane Civic Theater. In his career, he directed over 77 plays in the Spokane region. In the 1980s, Mr. Williams completed his doctorate in education at the University of the Pacific. In retirement, he performed as the Pacific Northwest's Ronald McDonald, touring the company's franchises as well as the children's hospitals, and conducting various orchestras as the iconic clown. He was also trained in analyzing handwriting, becoming a master graphoanalyst and lecturer. This passion, along with his knowledge of Alaskan history, sent him on over 50 cruises around the world as a shipboard lecturer with his wife Tessa. He would pass away on April 6, 2016. He was 88 years old. The last person I'm going to give a mention to in this episode today is a man who went by the name of Ronald H. Post-Lethwaite. And he was born in 1923 in Kansas City, Kansas. He served in World War II in the 82nd Airborne. Rollin was awarded the Purple Heart Medal and the Bronze Star Medal. He was proud of serving in the Battle of the Bulge. After the war, he was a sheet metal worker for 25 years. He loved hunting and fishing. He passed away on November 27, 2006. He was 82 years old. I hope you enjoy the rest of the videos of this awesome little but growing cemetery out here outside of Spokane, Washington. Thank you.